Well, surely this is the right spot.
That's right, Grover. This is the fiction section. Fiction means it's a made-up story. Oh, hey, Elmo, I bet we can find your Galactic Gale comic book here.
The topic of today's video is objects obeying gravity on the ISS, something that's not supposed to occur. Let's introduce this topic with a video by RV Truth titled NASA, SpaceX, and ESA astronauts caught dropping objects aboard zero gravity ISS.
Now, I found this pretty hilarious with the Andre Kuiper's tour, the US edition with the European Space Agency's official YouTube channel. Let's take a look here at the comments. And you don't see much interaction whatsoever by, as you can see, the European Space Agency's the handler of the channel itself. There's no interaction, or very little I should say, as you scroll around. There's no responses, no hearts. But take a look here. I found it pretty hilarious what I came across here as I scroll. Again, no interaction. You have to keep scrolling, and you'll see one here with Mike, Andres Kuiper's Legend. You'll see the heart by the European Space Agency that runs the channel on YouTube. But take a look here. Here's another heart. Love the screw drop. And you get a heart by the European Space Agency.
Yes, and so I did check this after I'd seen this video. In the updated comments, this particular message no longer appears, meaning there's likely some blowback caused by this action of the European Space Agency liking this comment about the controversy. Thus, this particular video is a bookmark for a very important moment in history, where the handler for a YouTube channel of a space agency nodded to the potential accusation of a corrupt act, which is illegitimacy of the entire aeronautical endeavor. ESA astronaut Andre Kuiper's is a part of this important bookmark in history of a very controversial short clip of footage for one of his tours of ISS. In doing research for this video topic, I had found there were really only two full-length videos that capture the pivotal moment, and the key video is actually in Dutch. And the key moment of the key video occurs at 35:30, where Andre enters the ISS lavatory. I'll show you how this moment occurred in this 360p version. I'll then show you an enhanced analysis using Video Enhanced AI up to 4K. But first, I'll just demonstrate to you that this liked comment, "Love the screw drop," is no longer present. So the video is the English translation of ESA astronaut Andre's tour of the ISS, published August 16, 2012. I'm now on that video. Actually, I'll change the showing to newest first, and we'll just scroll down. You see one liked comment there about Andre being a great host. Andre Kuiper's Legend. So this was the post a year ago that was associated. And you have OMG, nice International Space Station. The toilet, always a good idea in space or above. The floating Dutchman. Still nothing. And that's it, the bottom of the comments. So this one's no more. Okay, so we'll view the experience in 360p quality.
Deze panelen wordt de urine opgevangen en
and that really ends the scene there. Now I don't know how far I'm gonna get to go with you guys, but there are levels to this. Okay, and so first, before I show you the upscaled version, I'm going to take you back to RV Truth's video and just briefly show you an example of another dropped object, which for me is the most impressive demonstration. Here he shows Italian astronaut Paolo Nespoli holding some gizmo, and the gizmo seemingly drops from his hand. And so I'll play that.
As he drops a clip here. Let's take a look here. I'm going to play in slow motion for those that might be questioning what I'm presenting. It's going to be clear as day. Let's take a look.
An Italian on the ISS, but we
Dropped.
also have a lot of Italy on the station.
Now he just turns around. He doesn't know what to do.
How many parts?
Now let's stop here for a second and look at this slowly. I'm going to play it at two different slower speeds. Let's take a look at this one first. And obviously, he drops it in supposed zero gravity aboard the ISS.
An Italian
There he goes.
on the ISS.
So I really struggle with this because, as far as I can tell, this is indeed gravity acting, like indisputably. And it's the most impressive example I've seen of all the examples, even the one I'm going to upscale for you guys. And the reason why I'm struggling with this is because, like, for instance, this guy, Andre, he has this hour-long tour in English of him just going through every aspect of the actual station itself. And so I'm looking at all of this gear and a lot of objects that he manipulates that seemingly operates zero-G. And I'm just like, this is really infrastructure within the station. Like, this is real. This is like actual stuff there in the station. And a lot of this is seemingly operating in zero-G. If this is all a movie premiere, the dark, satanic brilliance and unscrupulous deviousness is just beyond the pale. It has to be real. All this has to be real. Especially like this cupola showing of the ISS, and what you see looking outside the ISS. Sorry, jumped the gun there. Here's a cupola part where he shows all these different angles of different parts of the ISS structure. I mean, yes, could it be screens showing a computer generated image of different vantage points, which you're supposed to see? Of course, it's possible. It just seems like a bit of extreme effort to be false knowingly. But again, this video, yes, the thing is falling. There's no other explanation for it.
An Italian
There he goes.
on the ISS.
And then the actual behavior of the person looking away, trying to direct energy away, like that's like an expected response for when you're in trouble. And so you're in that trap of thinking where it has to be all real or all false. Why waste the effort of faux showing parts of the space trip? If you're really there, there's no need to spoof anything. But with the amount of effort that goes into setting up all this equipment, if this is all somehow spoofed, it's a true matrix. One possibility I imagined is that the astronauts are taken to a location and they're told that what they're seeing represents a certain thing, like maybe the ISS, but given their personality profiles, they are selected based upon ability to handle cognitive dissonance of realizing eventually that they were not where they were told they were in terms of their operant technician jobs. And so through their profiles, we determined would not likely become whistleblowers. I'm just guessing, just working through the possibilities here. It just seems to be a kind of an incredible amount of effort to create all this. If you don't know what I'm talking about as far as just like the effort, I would just recommend watching a good 30 minutes of one of these space tours and you'll get a sense of what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the side-by-side key moment for the Andre clip, and then I'm gonna go deep on this clip here. Okay, so this fully upscaled clip is quite beautiful in terms of detail.
Wordt de urine opgevangen en
Okay, and that's it. And so with this clip, I also ran a noise reduction, as well as a de-esser, as well as a hum remover on the video editor. And my own scrub through, I could not actually find a moment where the clip that he removes from that wall actually appears to fall or fly in any direction. As I scrub through it going forwards, the clip seemingly dematerializes, and this is in the upscaled version. Also, as I was showed by zooming in, his hand lacks almost any discernible detail. It's just a blob. I looked at it and analyzed to see if the clip would appear within the hand, and I think it does at this moment here, but I don't know for sure because the detail is just so poor. But in any event, even though you hear an associated sound of something hitting the bottom, presumably, you don't see anything going in any direction, which led me to believe that probably, if this is at the level of skullduggery that some suspect, the clip was possibly removed by some type of masking so you couldn't see it in post-editing. And that consideration was also part of my speculation as to why the video was uploaded in 360p in the year 2012 when it could have been 720 or 1080. The low quality is a buffer that allows for errors to be better concealed. And so I'll go through this and you'll see that the piece does not seemingly go anywhere. It just vanishes, and you can go kind of frame by frame to confirm that. Okay, it's going to go ahead and zoom in further. And see his head looks down right at the key moment. Boom. Boom. Let's go ahead and add the audio in. Okay, so go ahead and apply an invert color. And I went ahead and applied edge detect, so take a look at the edges. Briefly, I'm just going to segue to another video that I found that was uploaded by a person with this really interesting name, 17's Observationism. It's a Dutch uploader who is not happy with his countrymen.
So fake. Duping the light. Let's have a look at this piece of shit. Lots of dramatic music.
Okay, so this uploader is mainly concerned about one of the landings. Specifically, he holds that the ESA capsule landed in a way that created an explosion, which appears to be for dramatic effect, but the effects are not consistent with the environmental terrain.
Bam!
Explosion. Bang.
Again. Bam! Yeah, it's all bullshit.
And then when the astronauts are recovered, they are carried out of the capsule. But oddly, the capsule itself is in a grassy field where you saw that explosion, which would seemingly be a fire risk. However, the grass is not singed, even though you saw the explosion. And so this is like a point of contention for this particular Dutch YouTuber. And I agree, it is suspicious and very odd. This should somehow be explained. Of course it's not. None of the controversies of significance are ever explained, perhaps by design. Okay, now we get to the deeper and quite strange portion of this presentation. Alright, listen carefully. You heard that? What's on an image right there? Let me play it again. I'm reminded about a previous analysis I had done to the topic of reverse speech. What it sounds like to me is, actually, you shouldn't have blew it. Actually, you shouldn't have blew it. And how about the reverse? I hear something to the effect of, don't lose your hat. I can't remember the channel or the name of the video, but there is an ISS vid with two astronauts on the screen. He has an iPad velcroed to his arm or leg. In the reflection of the iPad, you can see the cameraman. This was Sourdough Born's comment on the controversial flip upscale to 4K video. I believe this is the video in question. Space station crew member discusses life in space with Texas students by NASA. And the timestamp's around 20 seconds into the video. This is the iPad and there's a demon there on the screen. Another video was made by Joseph Green on this topic with a close-up of the entity. And so On this segment of this video, you have a woman in a blue dress in this picture in the lavatory, but you may see two eyes there and a nose. It's really at this vantage point in time where this is most obvious, with the nose, the mouth, and the eyes. I'm not quite sure what to make of this, but anyhow, I'm saying all of this to suggest that when you have the ability to use video editing technology to create whatever you would want the viewer to see as in a motion picture, you can insert all sorts of audio, EVP like themes and subliminal images to accomplish messaging, either to fellow craft members or to frustrate or taunt the analytic public, maybe as a bit of intimidation. And so when I hear this audio portion, I sort of wonder at times, could that have been a deliberate insert, just as the clip itself was edited out? An audio insert was added for the lay viewer to dissect? Or taking this from another perspective, are these manifestations that we see in imaging and these electronic voice projections in audio actual true paranormal phenomena of entities from the beyond that interact in our world to create change? Through poltergeist activity, could this astronaut have fumbled with the clip by actual interference from a third party, not of this world? It's easy to project, if you look at this in a spiritual sense, that these visuals and audio anomalies are to represent an evil entity. But in this speculation, we also have to consider the possibility of angelic interference, where the public is being warned, or perhaps evil is being interfered with directly in a causal way. Taking a closer look at this thing is going to be its own video topic, most likely. I don't see a pin drop in his video, but I do hear the audio of something falling, and I see his reaction looking down. And to me, it's disconcerting in a way when analyzed in the context of this whole hour-long video tour. Intimidating in a way to consider that if there were edited elements, what immense power and monetary influence do these traders wage? Are they even traders? Maybe to become illuminated requires the understanding of the quote-unquote greater good that is beyond the purview of those of us who would not succumb to Machiavellian thinking. I think secrecy is repugnant and will ultimately lead to destruction, because we see that pattern in civil society. The patterns determine the rule. So I do not believe that high-level secrecy at the level of space agency is any more just. I do not conclude that anything is truly done falsely, but I show you these clips to emphasize how disconcerting seeing something like this is. It more than begs for explanation. It requires it. Whistleblowing, if there was corruption, tends to occur more when the environment is made safe for doing so. That is, when there is a shift in the Overton window that makes the whistleblower feel less isolated. Truth Seeker, tell me what you think in the comments below. If you're new, please do like and subscribe. Take care. Peace.